Good evening. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome to a special edition of Nat20Hot. We're back on a Friday. We just streamed on Wednesday. We streamed so recently, I haven't even uploaded it onto YouTube yet, which doesn't really say a lot. I usually take weeks to do that. But we're so glad that you've decided to join us here on this Friday night because who needs to watch fake celebrities fight when you could watch non-celebrities play D&D together? If you're joining us for the first time, we are a group of friends who likes to play Dungeons and Dragons together. We also do this. We do this for fun. It's a homebrew campaign, so we don't always play by the established rules. Everything is coming from our own hearts and minds, and we appreciate you respecting that. But we also do this for the children. If you go ahead and check the link in our chat, you will find a link to our Extra Life team page. Extra Life, never heard of it, is a wonderful charity that supports children's hospitals across North America, funding critical and life-saving care for children who need it. So it is a wonderful charity, especially in this time of year, season of giving. You're thinking about your Giving Tuesday gift coming up in a week or two. Consider making it toward our Extra Life team. Together, we've raised close to $1,000 in almost 2 years of streaming, which is really very exciting, and we're very proud of that. As much as we make jokes about it. And with that, we've got only one person with us tonight. And why is that? Because when we last left our party, Randy presented the Randy plan, a plan by Randy, which involved a daring and much needed split of the adventuring party to tackle the many pressing issues at hand. And the reality is, this is probably much needed, not just because there are many pressing issues, but because tensions were starting to come to a head in this particular group. So, with Cena still recovering from their encounter with Seraphel, Branwen ventured off to the material plan to track the fallen sentinel. Meanwhile, Dunk, Willem, and Randy would venture off to the island of the Winter Court, but not before Dunk opted to conduct his ritual in a means of freeing himself from the curse of the wild magic that soars through his body. Transported to a place between time and space, he crossed paths with a disembodied voice that seemed lost and confused, but kind. She told Dunk that he would have to leave something behind to make space for the chaos within him. And she also shared her name, Miria, yet another of the gods' long gone champions. While Dunk and Willem ventured off to Ivern in search of the brine-bound stone to tempt Draken Voss, Randy broke off in search of yet another champion, potentially still living. Informed of his presence in the mountains north of the city many weeks ago, his wings frosted in the winter storm, Randy sets his feet down upon a path leading up into the jagged peaks of the Sorokin Mountains and the unknown troubles that they may contain. So, Randy, that is where we find ourselves. The Sorokin Mountains rising before you like an unbroken wall of snow and rock, peaks jagged and dusted in frost. And even though you've touched down upon the ground here, the air is still quite thin. You're at a pretty significant elevation, and you can see the city sprawling out below you. There's a kind of mix of scent of pine and stone, and the forest is sparse here. And the mountain path before you is little more than a worn trail through the rock, barely visible through the snow and shadowed by the sheer mountain faces on either side of you.
The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cast sending to Cena since it's been a little while, and I'm just going to say, "Hey, sorry. Um, I'll see you in a few days. We're okay. I hope you are too."
Okay. At the moment, you receive no response.
Okay. I chalk that up to probably still sleeping. And I am going. Is there like a path going up the mountain?
There is a path, though you don't necessarily know like where exactly you're going. There is a path that seems to wind up into the mountains, though it, there is no. You can't really discern its provenance or where it's going.
I will follow that path as best I can, I guess.
All right. So, as you make your way up the mountain, the path grows ever steeper, and soon you're starting to kind of clamber up slopes that are slick with frost. At some points, you are in a full scramble, kind of gripping out at rocks coated with a thin, dangerous glaze of ice. And make a Constitution check.
Womp womp. Uh, 10.
Excuse me. Unfortunately, as you're kind of bearing yourself against the cold, the winds whipping about, laden with ice, stinging your face and pulling at your clothes, almost as though the mountains themselves are telling you to proceed no further. The storm at this point is very tiresome and slowing your progress a great deal. Um, Further, given the fact that the temperature is plummeting as you continue to climb, the cold becomes a bit of a constant gnawing ache. And as you have not really steadied yourself against the cold, you will incur a level of exhaustion.
I don't suffer any penalties to high altitudes, and I'm resistant to cold damage. I'm mountain born, so
No kidding, because
the
you're a
one
Goliath.
time this has ever come in handy.
That is actually crazy because you were born in the mountains. All right, so this will have no effect on you. However, you are like aware that this is the coldest you've been since your youth. Like this is beyond a
Yep.
shadow of a doubt. Like some of the worst weather that you personally have faced, and it does kind of creep a bit of fear into the back of your mind. This is whether that as a child you would have been warned to stay within the village, stay within the warmth of your abode. But here you are, continuing to face it. Uh, as you progress, I'll have you make a perception check to see if you should kind of identify anything that is worth pursuing.
Um, 22.
Hmm. So while the path is growing steeper and like the chill starts to embed itself in your bones, you can faintly kind of visualize through the mist and the whipping winds of the storm, kicking up a lot of the snow around you. The path seems to lead up to a more like plateau along the outer ridge of the mountains. So while you're kind of working your way up into the peaks, there does seem to be something that you're working towards, which is just a flat think about it as like the pathway that they're walking in Lord of the Rings before they decide to go to the mines of Moria.
Hmm.
It's just a flat ring around the mountains that seems to, from this juncture, just based on your eyesight, like the you managed to catch a glimpse of like black amongst the gray and white mountains, like suggesting perhaps there might be some entryways where you could at least seek shelter.
That is what I will attempt to do then, is just make my way there and then rest for a little while before continuing onward, perhaps.
Okay. As you do so, I'll have you make an athletics check to avoid some of the difficult terrain that you're dealing with.
Ooh, 25.
Mm. The path becomes quite narrow with like steep drops on one side, but you're able to kind of like deftly as you slip and your boot kind of slips into the crevice below. You manage to kind of like beat one wing on the side and manage to catch yourself up and continue along the path. And while you kind of steady your footing and you plant your foot firmly below you, you do note like some chunks of ice and rock tumble down the mountain. Just kind of embeds in your mind some of the risk associated here. That said, given your good roll, you're able to make up the side of the mountain with relative ease. You know, this is something that you've been doing since you were a wee lad. It's a strength of will that you're quite comfortable with and known for. And finally, you kind of reach this flat plateau around the mountain, and you can see that there are a number of cave systems, as though like there are. In fact, you even kind of pass a few that don't seem to be much more than like kind of carvings into the earth to allow like uh, relief from the wind and snow. I'll have you make an investigation check as you pass some of them.
Dang, I'm getting some good ass rolls. I got a 20.
Hmm.
Dirty.
Well done. I think you're riding this kind of high of adrenaline. Like Randy is set off with a purpose. He's
For
designed this
sure.
plan. He's written the steps that they're going to take, and he's quite confident that it'll succeed. And so you're on the tip of your game. And as you kind of inspect some of these, you run your hand along the stone. You become quite comfortable with rock over the past couple of months as well, given your work with stone shape. You can tell that some of these are man-made. That whomever kind of like hewn these paths also carved these edifices out of the stone to allow relief from the storm for would-be travelers or explorers. Though some of them are natural, and those are appear to be the deeper systems, uh, and at least give you kind of a potentially a place to stop and rest. Because from what you can tell, The sun is getting quite low in the sky, and though the days are shorter here, you're also quite tired. It's been a long day of flying and ascending this initial walk up the mountains.
Kind of knowing that time is uh limited uh in the way that we're going, I'm going to take a rest, but like I'm just gonna wait until I feel a little bit better, and then I'm gonna go right out there.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe perhaps
So
a short rest.
taking a short rest, that's fine. You kind of hunch yourself up against one of the man-made carvings, and finally get a bit of respite from the snow. But the sun sets
And
quickly here.
I will light up a joint
Okay,
and smonk by myself.
well done. As you let the snow kind of whip past you and enjoy your joint, you find that the sun sets pretty quickly here. So darkness does begin to overtake the mountains and the pathway. And given your limited dark, or rather
No
completely
dark
no
vision.
dark vision, you find that it becomes even difficult to see even your hand in front of you.
I'm going to cast light.
Okay.
And once I feel, oh, like, okay, does the cave like keep going into the mountain though behind me?
This particular one does not. It's a deep enough cave, like where you could
Yeah.
theoretically go to the back, but you'd still be able to see the entrance perfectly. At this point, you
Okay,
haven't seen anything that continues to extend into the mountain.
gotcha. How close does it look like I am to? I guess I don't really know where I'm going even,
Yeah, you don't really have. You're just kind of walking through the mountains.
but there is like still a visible like path, right? That I've been
Indeed.
following.
Yeah, you're walking along a path. You don't know where it leads, though.
Right. Uh,
You said to cast light, right? How long does that last?
light is a cantrip, so I can just kind of,
Oh, you just
but I don't think that's
basically,
gonna provide enough light.
yeah, but it's enough
So
for
I'm
now.
gonna, okay, to continue up if
I
I
mean,
were.
you only need to see. You tell me. You at the moment, light gives what 10 foot radius.
Let's see. 20-foot
Okay, so you
radius.
can see 20 feet ahead of you.
That's not too bad, but I am gonna cast daylight instead,
Okay,
which is 60-foot radius, just to like make sure I don't get lost.
okay,
But I'm gonna continue up the mountain.
okay. So do you cast it on an object, or you kind of casting it to follow?
I cast it on an object, I guess. I'll cast it on. I'll just pluck out a feather and cast it on that.
Okay. So you're kind of holding this feather as it whips against the wind. You kind of tuck it into your cloak so that it sits there and is able to kind of light from around you. And as you kind of cast this spell, it bathes the bit of the cavern that you're in a very warm glow. And you can see that it's just a pretty standard rock formation, but you can make an investigation check while you're in here since you've now bathed it in light.
Nat 20.
Well, the rocks at the back of the cave are not they've been almost placed there. It would appear that as though they've been placed there. Um,
Oh.
so they've got either from a rock fall or some other means, but this is not like the end of where this cave used to be. The cave used to go deeper.
I will go to the back of the cave and cast stone shape on these rocks,
Okay,
and kind of create a little entrance for myself.
you are able to create a 5 by 5 entrance, but you are met by more rock at the back of it.
Okay. Um, I'll just kind of. It seems like a landslide or a rock tumble, or what are they called? Cave-ins. I just
Mm-hmm.
kind of shrug, turn around, and continue up the mountain.
Okay. Um, you look like a radiant glow as you progress up the cliff face, which, while looking from a distance, it appeared to be rather flat. You can tell there is some degree of an incline as it seems to wrap around the mountain that you're currently on. Um, and you kind of pause for a moment, slip in again to one of the other like more man-made carvings to step out of the storm for a moment to catch your breath. When a heavy thud sounds from behind you, uh, muffled by the snow, but unmistakable. As you're going to turn to look, there's a figure that stands. They're clouded in the your vision is while illuminated by the light. The snow is kind of reflecting back at you, so it's difficult to see just exactly what it is. Uh, Whipping snow and ice and clouding your vision of them, but they stand very tall, lean, and even in the poor visibility, you can note their toned physique. They inch closer to you, kind of tilting their head, sizing you up.
Hello. I'm Randy.
They take a step closer, kind of bearing the weight of the storm against them on a polearm, trudging through the weather slowly towards you.
Yeah,
Ah,
no, you should come in here. It's not great out there.
Randy, the last I saw you, you did not have these wings.
Oh shit, Javu! Ah! And I run towards him and I give him a hug.
He catches you kind of like in his. Well, he kind of pulls you up against the cliff face, his imposing figure now kind of shielding you from the bulk of the storm. Uh, and he looks and goes, well, funny to find you here so high up on the mountains all by yourself.
Yeah, this is not the place that I'd expect to find anybody except for Valerian.
I see. So you come all this way to meet a ghost.
Ah, well, all ghosts are real.
He kind of stares at you for a moment. And he kind of claps you on the shoulder. I have missed you even when I hoped to kill you that night.
It's cool. Like that's seems to be most people's experience.
Come, follow me, Randy. And he will usher you out of the cave and back onto the path. Kind of walk alongside you, keeping you against the mountain so that you can't fall off.
I will do that.
So, your companion, he flaunts his title of Lord of the Wild Hunt far less than those that have come before him. An admirable quality, even here in the cold of winter.
He mentions it a lot.
I promise you, he mentions it's fewer than those that came before. Although I would
Dunks
say
a
it is that other
punch
friend of
one.
him that seems to mention it even more. The
Mm,
the horned one with a large ego.
yeah, yeah. Um, Hey, what are you doing up here? I know you like live in the winter realm or whatever, but you seem like a person like most people wouldn't climb a mountain for no reason.
This is a good question, and all questions have answers. So I will ask you one in return. Have you given thought to your calling since we last spoke?
My calling,
Yes,
um, whether I would like to be, what would you say it was loved, admired, or appreciated?
something like that. But I mean, in greater respects. Why are you here? If I remember correctly, you were quite content as a champion, regardless of how any decisions that you made might affect those that you travel with. And now I find you here, at the top of the world, all alone. Have you finally driven away those that you would otherwise hold most dear?
No, we're good.
Huh?
I
I sense
I'm
that
kind of
hesitation.
well, things were pretty good for a while. We kind of got a lot of stuff squared away. We killed that guy's mom, who killed the girl's mom. So lots of mom killing has been done. But things were pretty good when we were killing moms. And then, we kind of stopped having concrete goals that were very easy to follow. And I think we kind of started having to deal with this whole. Did I tell you about this whole Seraphel business? I think I did. I'm almost positive I did.
You mentioned many things when we last spoke. It
Yeah,
was
so
difficult to
we
get you to stop.
yeah, I was pretty drunk at the time. Sorry about that. That was I was in a bad place, man, when I met you. I'm doing better now, I think.
Hmm.
Um anyway,
So you were here wandering through the coldest place in the world alone with no idea where you were going because this is a concrete goal of yours?
I fell backwards and then a voice came out of my mouth and said, "What have you done?" And that it seemed like I should go to the mountains about it. So that's the real like the concrete reason. But if we wanted to kind of talk about why I'm here at all, uh, I would like to understand who tr- I'm. I'm trying to understand what I'm doing here, man. What am I? Am I this? So I got a this one. There's black. She looks like me, but she's a woman. She's got black feathers. She doesn't look like me at all, but she's kind of like me, and I have to kill her, or that's what Adara has been telling me. She's all like, "You got to kill her. You got to do it. She's evil, and she's gonna destroy everything. If you don't kill her, then she'll kill everybody." And that seems to me, at least recently, as like not the thing to do. So I'm gonna try to do this other thing, where I want to take her and I want her to be our friend instead. It's gonna take a long time. I'm gonna learn time travel about it. It's a good plan. It's a good plan. Anyway, I'm talking to this guy because he knew her at one point, and I think it would help.
Righty. He kind of pauses for a moment and turns to face you. Are you truly dissaddled? Or do you truly think your cause is so true, so just, that everything will work out?
I have no idea.
And what if you fail? What then?
Um, I don't I don't really like to think about that. Um, I guess I guess I'll die. I don't know. And a lot of other people will.
He turns and starts to walk alongside you again. Very true, no, my true calling, Riley. And even still, I have failed at this. That much you know. The reality of my situation, my successes would be private. I do not get curtain calls. There are no feasts in my name. At least not for my true work. Jabu the warrior, sure. Jabu the, well, that, even more. But for my true calling, no. In your life, being Duke of the Silver Cloud, a lunathil in the service to her grace the Queen. These are not things that you retain when you fail as many times as I have. And yet still I come back and do what I am supposed to do. Do you feel failure so much that you will not even think of it? That you fly in the face of it and do what you are meant to do?
I don't really think I'm meant to do anything.
Then why do you do all this? Because you were told by some goddess?
Not anymore.
No. Because when I first met you, you were trapped between versions of yourself. The one so desperate to please a goddess, he didn't believe that he would fly in the face of his friends. The other, too afraid of his own past to atone for his sins. He stops and he steps in front of you again. And this time he kind of takes the pole arm and taps it against your chest. Which version am I speaking to now?
Um, can there be a third option?
You tell me. Only you can know
Because
your
I'm
mind.
definitely not. I don't know. Adara's not really my gal anymore. She's not. Um, I don't think she's got the best ideas, but I do think she had. We still share a common goal. I don't really care what she thinks at this point. She seems to be very one track minded, and she didn't really ask for me, and I didn't really ask for her. So it's you know
But this is where your powers come from, no?
I guess
You
I
guess.
never really
Or do you
thought
know?
of it that. Look, I could do cleric shit long before I decided to be Mr. Adara.
Is that so?
Yeah,
And
I
who
mean
are you?
I'm Randy.
And why are you here?
I want to do something. I can't be like Seraphel. I can't. She has to be there. There has to be a way to get her to change her mind. She has to be able to change herself, because if she can, then then then
And what?
you know I don't know. I gotta be good for. I'm good for something. That'd be nice.
He pauses, lingering on that, and stops for a minute.
I look. You last time you talked to me about how I should do what I want to do, or I got to be the true Randy. I I have literally refused to God several times at this point. You know, not in a I'm not going to do what you ask kind of a way, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this, and we're still going to have the same outcome. Anyway, I feel like I want to do this, but I want to do it my way. I want to do it the way that I thought of that I can do, because if I can do what that is, then I can be uh I could be something better for my friends, for Cena. I need to be better.
Hmm. The wind at this point is whipping quite strong, gusting about to the point where you almost can't even hear the words leave your lips. Like, he just kind of stands in front of you, nodding, unblinking, peering with crystalline eyes into your soul. Very well, Randy. The wild hunt I told you to come here, and it would appear I was wise to do so. He kind of stops in front of a cave and gestures with his pole arm. My family has guarded this place for generations, in secret. And as you know, I have failed in this endeavor before. And now, I fail again. He hands the pole arm to you to take.
Okay, I accept it.
He turns on his heels and kind of steadies his body, placing his hand upon what appears to be just another one of the same rock falls that you left behind earlier in the cave. But now it glows as pulsing energy flies from his fingertips, hitting the stone, an ethereal blue as he places his hands upon it, and the mountain shudders, snow falling down in heaps at the mouth of the cave, and the stone seems to fade, becoming translucent, revealing a cavernous path into the mountains. He holds it and he looks over his shoulder. You walk alone now, but I am glad our paths have crossed again. The spirit that you seek lies within. But know this, you must show no fear. You must know yourself. You must know who you are and who you want to be, for they will know you inside and out, and they can reject you. And just as I've begun to enjoy our talks, Randy.
Um, it's been very good to see you, Jabu. And I pluck out a feather and I give it to him.
He takes it and he tucks it into. For the first time, you realize that he's really not wearing much clothing. Like clearly, he is built and bred for this type of weather, and he kind of tucks it into a bit of cloth that he is wrapped around his torso, while he continues to hold the gate open with one hand.
And I'll pat him on the shoulder and say, "Yeah, it's been real, man. I appreciate our talks." And I turn around and walk in.
He leaves you in silence, standing there as you walk in. He continues to stay to keep the gate open. And as you pass through the kind of semi-translucent stone, the cavern opens up, sprawling and dark, even beyond the 60-foot radius of your daylight spell. The shimmering wall behind you sheds a bit of additional pale blue light. And as you advance further into the tunnel, you can see that Jabu kind of closes his fist and allows the stone to reform, uh, leaving you within the cave, quiet. Even the whipping of the wind outside seems to fade from your ears. You advance deeper into this kind of like waiting cavern, and the air grows colder, heavy, and stale, seemingly untouched by the centuries. You can feel something around you,
I can feel something. What?
like a presence almost.
Okay. Um, I'm just gonna say, uh, "Hello, I'm Randy. Is there anybody here?"
You receive no response.
But the path keeps going as far as I can tell.
Make a perception check.
15.
As you continue to progress forward, you can hear the echo of your footfalls off the stone floor. That is slick at some points with black ice. You can steady yourself every now and then. You can see that the cavern seems to break off into three tunnels, boring deeper into the mountain.
Um, do any of them look different?
Make an investigation check.
Nope. Three.
You don't notice anything. Each of them looks like a tunnel. Uh,
They sure do.
Rocky, cavey, tunnel.
Um,
There is a left, middle, and right. The left kind of ascends a bit, the middle stays level, the right descends.
then I will go to the right.
Okay. You continue to progress down the cavern, uh, and you feel as though one thing you notice the rock is like almost exceptionally smooth, as though it's been like bored out and eroded over the centuries by water or something of that sort that may run through this cavern if it were ever not freezing. Um, but you walk for about an hour without finding anything
Damn.
of note.
But it continues downward, sloping downward.
Continues to slope downward.
I continue on.
Okay. As you continue to progress, a deep, hollow voice echoes in your mind, breaking an otherwise very still silence that you have felt since you entered the space. The Lunathil permitted you entry. Have you come to explain yourself?
Um, Hello, I'm Randy. I have come to, I think, just meet you.
How you would know me is long gone. I am a spirit of my former self, as many of us went on to be. You walk away from me now.
Should I turn around? Did I take the wrong path?
Unfortunately, you are like me, and yet we could not be more different. I ask you a question. You have been offered the chance to become more than what you are, to be given strength beyond your mortal limits. Cease to be earthbound. And as he says that, you feel kind of a wind rush through the tunnel, flutter the feathers in your wings. All for a chance at the time to atone. Would you have taken this mantle so eagerly if it meant losing a part of yourself? And if
I've been
so,
losing.
what would you choose to lose?
I've been losing parts of myself for a long time, buddy. But I would give up a lot.
Some of us were made without things to give up. Take the left tunnel.
I turn around about face and walk up the path and take the left tunnel.
Okay. It takes you about 2 hours as you've now doubled back.
Yeah.
You can make an investigation check at advantage as you return to the left tunnel and try to discern why you were supposed to go this way.
I got a 21 that time. Nope, I did not. I got a 17.
Okay. You can see the left-hand tunnel has deep grooves in the stone, uh, whereas like you've already found the right to be smoother and, uh, for all intents and purposes, untouched. As you take the left tunnel, it expands into a vast cavern that, by your estimation, could potentially fit an entire other mountain inside of it. It is so vast that the light of your daylight spell cannot fill the room, and your footsteps can start to echo across the vast halls. What your light does catch, make a perception check.
17.
Yeah, as you kind of walk through or into the room, you can see the light pours over a lot of the craggy rock and imperfect face of the cavern walls, until finally it passes over a much smoother stone, perfectly rounded, shimmering in the light, polished enough to offer a faint reflection of yourself staring back at you, with two more similar stones stacked on top, almost like a little pile, neat. Um, and as you kind of scan around, you can see that there are a number of these structures kind of stacked next to each other. Um, a similar one a few feet away, and then another.
Uh, cool orbs, man.
Um, the voice does not reply. You kind of slowly pace down. You count one, two, three, four, five, six stacks of stone, each unique in its polish and foliation. They're beautiful. And as you peer into your reflection of the seventh structure, the light reflects not on the rock, but something behind you, reflected in the stone surface. And a low, guttural rumble as the light begins to bounce and shimmer in the reflection of the stone's polished facade. And you catch sight of something impossibly vast behind you, its form coming into focus with each beat of your heart. At first, it looks like a trick of the light until you see its scales smooth and silver, shimmering with the cold radiance of moonlight on frost. And you realize that it's this figure, this shape is shifting slightly. Every subtle movement sending faint ripples in your light, bouncing off the body into the atmosphere around you, bouncing off the cave walls, and a steady guttural exhale, each breath deep and ancient. And finally, in the reflection, for a moment, you feel almost paralyzed to turn around. You can see a gargantuan head leaning in with a face awe-inspiring and unsettling, razor-sharp horns sweeping back like darkened icicles from a skull as large as a carriage, capped by a membrane-thin fan running down toward its neck and silvery tendrils of mist escaping from the sides of its mouth, coiling and drifting in the still air. As you turn and stand, transfixed by the sight, the creature's face draws closer, and you see its eyes meet yours, twinned orbs of deep, liquid silver, fixed unerringly upon you. The creature's lips part slightly, revealing a thin line of glistening teeth, each the size of a short sword, and a deep, resonant voice echoes softly, carrying the weight of countless centuries. Strange, the weight of the world on such small shoulders. How have you found yourself here, little pebble?
Uh, Jabu led me. Have you met him?
Ah, the Lunathil, yes. He fails again, but perhaps this time by design. And as you kind of
You t-
stand there, he shifts an enormous clawed foot, letting it come into the light and kind of drapes it by your side and lets his head drop upon the foot. And even you, standing at 8 foot tall, the head still towers above you from the sheer girth of the arm and the head itself, still looking down upon you despite resting upon the ground.
is this guy like a dragon? Dragon?
He's a dragon.
Oh shit. Okay, I wasn't sure if he was dragon or like dragonborn. Okay,
He
awesome.
towers over you, wall of silver scales, rippling muscles, massive folded wings. You kind of pick up the feather and let it shine across the cavern, and you can see that his presence just fills the space, swallowing it.
It's so good to meet you.
Hmm. Have you come just to meet me? Do you seek absolution for the blight you've now wrought upon the land? The chaos you have now no doubt let loose.
Yeah, I might have done a little fucky wucky, that's for sure.
Fucky wucky.
Uh, Look, and I kind of like sit down cross-legged. I go, I I more or less wanted to get your input on the whole situation.
Situation. Who do you serve? Who
I
trusts
said,
you with this divine power?
uh, I pause for a second. I look down, I look back up, I say, I serve myself. I'm
I see.
Randy.
I see. And with this divine power that you trust only with yourself, what do you mean to accomplish?
Um, I'd like for to make the world not explode. Perhaps prevent the whole culling of the world tree and destroying of the realms would be my goal, I'd think.
You think?
I know.
Why?
I'm Randy.
Beast lifts its head, kind of scans you. It brings its down until it can meet you eye to eye. The kind of eyelid folds over, opens back up. Its pupil dilates as it looks at you. You were not born with this gift.
No.
Who trusts the would-be champion?
Um Randy's kind of like shuffling in his mind people that trust him. And he's like, Branwyn?
The dragon's lips curl, revealing its teeth once again. And in a, you can make an insight check.
Um 21.
The creature is tired and ancient, and even in this exacerbated state, you can hear the fatigue. And so even now, as he kind of lashes out at you and appears to be yelling at you, you can sense the ache of the eons. Do not lie to me, Pebble. You know what I seek. Who trusts you with this power?
Yeah, it was Adara.
Adara. He pulls up, flanks you once more, and places his head above on his foot once more. I see.
And who trusts you with being a big old dragon?
As many of my comrades did before me, we have traded our immortality, but not our longevity. Not all of us, at least. I assume this form and the weight. This is who I am, though I am not as you know me. What do you know of Valerian?
Um, I know that you knew Seraphel, and that's kind of why I'm here.
To own for your misgiving. I have sensed her once more in the place where it sits.
Yeah, that's my bad.
You come for forgiveness, you will not find it here.
No, I'm not trying to be forgiven. Um, Nothing's happened yet, so nothing to forgive, right? Um, the thing it's a prevention act now, is what I'm trying to get to do.
And what are we trying to prevent?
Uh,
One
I
who is trusted with an almighty power.
yeah, so the destruction of all the realms and just the world tree. That seems to be her goal. So we're gonna try to not have that happen.
Is it?
What?
Who whispers in the ear of the would-be champion? Tells them these things.
I guess that was Adara's thing. But Seraphel has not given me a lot of reason to think that she wouldn't do that.
Madara tells you these things.
Yes. Are they not accurate? She seems dangerous, no?
Beyond anything you could understand.
So what is your take on the whole situation? I'm sure that you were there, yeah? Like you know what exactly went. Hold on. Dangerous than more than I can imagine? I can imagine quite a fucking bit, guy.
Yes.
Are you what okay, yeah, explain.
I, like my brothers and sisters, and now you, am a weapon. But unlike you, I was not born. I was created, built. And the oceans of this world would overflow with the blood I have spilled. You cannot fathom. But tell me, champion, who knows all in the threat that Seraphel poses? Why were we built?
We were built to carry out God's plans seems to be the thing. I don't know if I agree with that.
And what are those plans? And keep in mind that you are not built. We are not the same. You were entrusted with a power so vast you could not comprehend or retain it. We are not the same. Which is why I have hope for you yet.
What was the last thing you said?
Which is why I have hope for you yet. So tell me, why were we built? Don't, not you. Us.
You were built for war.
A weapon. And what
Just
war?
kind of killing.
To defend the people, yes? To prevent the convergence? To stop evil lords and demons and demigods? Is that what you read in your book? And his behemoth toe kind of taps upon the etheric compendium, which is strapped to your side.
Yeah, yeah, I've read this a lot. Made my brain go a little funny for a while, but all the good drugs do.
History is written by the victors, they say. And Zephyron was quite keen on our victories. Made sure that little robot knew everything. It is whole, alive.
Say fucking what?
We were not built to keep peace, defeat convergence lords. We were built to conquer. We were built to overthrow. The gods as you know them are daughter among them, are lesser deities, demigods at best. And when they saw an opportunity, they seized it. They made us in their image to defeat them. And we largely succeeded. You know not of the deities that came before. You only know the eight.
Yeah,
Largely succeeded. It is difficult to tell you everything that happened. Creature shifts and brings his carriage-sized head down in front of you. The weight carried by the centuries is a difficult burden to bear. But I can show you.
yeah. I love being shown weird shit.
The air around you stills as Valerian, his silver scales catching in the waning light, but weary eyes fix on you with a weight that makes your chest tighten. Like even you, in the casual unease you've approached this with, feel a tension in your heart. And you seek the truth. And it is not a gift I give lightly. For the truth is a blade that cuts as deeply as it reveals. Witness what I failed to prevent. See the destiny of the champions that came before you. And he lowers his head and lets his breath wash over you, warm and heavy. The scent of ash and earth. And his eyes flash with a golden light, and your vision fades. And the world around you melts, replaced by a swirling, fractured tapestry of color and sound. You stand on the edge of a cliff. Make a history check.
25.
Cliff is familiar. It's a path that you walked many times in your walks across the country. It's about south of the Switchback Inn on the coast east of Mercier. Um, you knew a handful of fishing villages that popped up there. Feels memorable, but it's a product of a different age. Everything feels smaller. You only overlook one town, but this town is not good. The acrid scent of smoke fills your lungs, and you can hear the screams. People fleeing. They echo in your ears. You kind of scan, look around, and you freeze for just a moment. Your hand reaches and forms your patented guiding bolt pistol for just a moment. Standing next to you, gleaming silver armor and white feathers, strides down towards the chaos, her blade radiant and terrible, cuts through the haze like a beacon. Seraphel. Her hair is lighter, her feathers white, but unmistakably her. And you can feel the weight of her resolve. Make an insight check.
Uh, 23.
You can also see anguish, subtle twitch and shake of her hand trembling on the hilt of her sword. But she progresses forward, and a voice echoes across the horizon. Seraphel. She believed this was her purpose, to follow the god's will, no matter what, and no matter the cost. They told her that mortals were a threat, that a discovery of the tree would undo the balance of the planes. She was instructed to kill them, and so she obeyed. Your gaze kind of shifts down to a child hiding behind a broken cart, their small body trembling. You look from behind. Seraphel's head immediately tracks down to this source of the crime. For a moment, she pauses and kind of lowers the blade. She shakes her head. And a whip. The screaming stops. And a small thud as the head rolls down. She obeyed. This is the beginning of the end. The vision shifts. And now you stand beneath a titanic tree whose roots coil like serpents across the ground. Its branches and boughs shoot into the sky, high into the clouds, impossibly high. They cast no shade. They seem to end and begin and continue. Make an investigation check.
I've rolled above a 10, I think, every time but once this session.
It was the one
I
time you
got,
went the wrong way.
yeah, I got a 24.
You catch a glimpse of other worlds, worlds beyond, high in the heavens. The air hums with an overwhelming energy. And you almost, as the world materializes around you, have to you place a hand down on the ground to catch yourself. The weight of this presence drives you into the earth. The familiar figure stands at the base of the tree, her armor now scorched and battered. But across from her are three figures you do not recognize. Make a history check.
Rats. uh, only 17.
Okay, you don't know enough to identify them, but you do remember these statues from the Tomb of Alari in the Wathen Wood. These are absolutely other champions. A radiant woman holds a golden staff glowing faintly. A stoic warrior who grips a spear. And a grim, silent figure with piercing eyes and flowing robes. The tension is palpable. A voice from the young woman rings out. Seraphel, this has to stop. The gods would not ask this. They've twisted you against the people we are meant to lead. Against us, against me. You can see it, can't you? The woman approaches, extending her hands. But Seraphil replies, her voice trembling in her fists. She reaches out to take the woman's hands before they clench at her sides. You forsaken? You forsaked. You forsaked the oath that we were created for. Our divine purpose. For what? So that you might lead lands destined for slaughter. We knew they were not allowed to be here. You, all of you, left this. Her gaze lingers on the woman. You left me. You turned your backs on what we were built to do, told to do. The voice echoes across the horizon once more. I should have spoken then. I should have told her she wasn't abandoned. That we hadn't left our oath, but found a greater purpose. We would be stewards. We were stewards. The people were never meant to be there, no. But they were there now. So they became our charge. But I couldn't see it. The air grows heavier. And you can sense the moment turning. Miria steps closer. Staff lowered. Voice quiet. It is not we who've left you, dear. We do not stray from the earth. We are meant to steward this place and all its people. But now, they fear us. They fear you. Can't you see? Make an insight check.
27.
The woman does not tell the full truth. And you can see the cracks in Seraphel's expression. Me. But they, as she gestures up the truth, the gods, they told me, they told all of us. Her lips part, but no words come out. And her vision shifts to the side, where she could see Valerian skulking to her right, approaching from the side, and the other judgment shifting towards the left. You've already decided? And the tension breaks as blades clash, and suddenly you are tossed into the chaos. Seraphel and Valerian exchange blows, her sword colliding with the base of his spear. The other figure steps in, attempting to spin Seraphel to the ground, weaving bits of magic with his hands. Valerian and the other figure are lashing out full bore. They mean to draw blood. But the woman, near you, her strikes remain measured, as if desperate to subdue rather than kill. But Seraphel moves like a tempest, her streaks strikes laced with grief and fury. And then it happens. Miria falters, her foot catching on the twisted root, Seraphel's blade flashing in the dim light. As crimson blood scatters across the field. That's steep. Time seems to slow for you as Miria gasps, and the staff falls from her grasp. She crumples to her knees as blood stains the roots of the tree. Miria! Seraphel's voice cracks as the moment seems to pause. Miria grimaces weakly, kind of clutching her chest where the blade bore. She reaches up with another hand. Make a perception check.
Nat 1.
You notice nothing else other than the trembling hand reaching out. And so it surprises you just as much as it surprised Seraphel, who reaches out with a hand to clasp her companion. And in a flash, Neria clamps a rune-crusted manacle, heavy and iron, onto the outstretched wrist, before slumping to the ground, silently whispering, "I'm sorry." And you can hear Valerian call out, "Do it!" As Seraphel falls to her knees, the manacle so heavy, bearing her down to the earth, as she kind of claws at it with her other hand. Valerian drives the spear through her back shoulder. She lets out a cry of anguish as he buries it deeper and deeper until he finally plunges through the front, slick with blood, and he drives it into the dirt, pinning her other arm to the side as she cries out in agony as the manacle begins to glow. And you finally see Eldros muttering quickly under his breath. I mean, the other person whose name you don't know. Muttering quickly under his breath. She lifts up her head to the heavens, her grief twisted into something darker. And suddenly you are in Valerian's shoes. She locks eyes with you. You planned this. They planned this. Valerian, don't you see? They fear us because we were made to destroy them. They will fear me if you do this. Light descends, encircling her. The other voice echoing around you, condemning Seraphel as a traitor. Valerian returning her steely gaze. You left us no choice. You would lead us to ruin. Her glare pierces him, pierces you. She speaks in a voice cold as steel. You already have. The light of the ritual extends from her wrist, consuming her, and you can feel the hot fury burn through the radiance. Her final scream echoing not in despair, but defiance as she crumples out of existence. The grove dissolves around you, the weight of the tree's presence fading, as Valerian's presence pulls you back to reality. And so she fell, banished by elders, betrayed by us, twisted by grief. Vision leaves you cold, weight of the truth, pressing on your very soul.
Um, so what does she mean to do now?
I don't know. She'll be as much a danger to this world as to them. He looks up towards the heavens. But, though it's taken me centuries to learn, she was right. If we are the dog, the world tree is our leash. They stay in the heavens out of fear of their own creation.
If we if the if the world tree does get destroyed, like I assume Seraphel wants, I assume that that was a truth that was told to me by Adara, which could be a lie, seems to be common. Um, wouldn't that make all realities kind of collide and make a big disaster and everyone die?
It is the lie that you have been told. That the world tree was created to maintain balance in the cosmos. This is the lie that we were told. It is that, a lie. The world tree exists for two reasons. Yes, it maintains a balance in the cosmos. Yes, realities and realms were known to converge in the time before our existence. The Pantheon of Eight seized this opportunity slay the other gods, and take what was not theirs, take what they are not capable of maintaining. The tree exists to maintain order and thicken the boundaries between these places, so they are not so readily crossed and traversed. This is a prison. We are kept here so that we might not be weapons against them. They seek only to maintain their power. But there is another reason,
Okay.
and I see in your mind that it is already too late.
Okay.
You have seen them. Eli Goy.
Ilangoy?
Eli Goy. They are the space between worlds, that which consumes all, that which our greatest failure. Though we were born and bred and created to defeat the prime deities. Two existed so primordial and chaotic we could not dream to yield them. One we chained away. The other, in our collective might, we banished far beyond the realms. The tree exists to preclude an open intrusion, lest it consume all in its path. The Nightmare King, harbinger of chaos. The Nothing. They have many names, but one purpose. Death.
So one of those gods, and these are like the mega gods, right?
Correct.
Was that Azaleus, or is he a mini god?
That is the other.
I've talked to him.
You've talked to them.
Yes, two people. Um, they were pretty cool. Was that also your experience, or no?
They do not look fondly upon my time of the Convergence Wars. It is a time I would rather forget. I cannot.
Did you which gods did you kill?
All the rest.
And how many were there?
There were 18 in total.
Right. I wasn't sure if this was like a tiered situation, or these guys were on the same level as like Adara and them.
They were not. As I said, the 18 gods were comprised of what you now know as the Pantheon of Eight, and 10 greater deities,
Ah,
responsible for the true creation of the universe.
got it.
The eight that you know are among their first creations, and now they bear the weight of a universe they cannot fathom. At the end of the day, the world tree prevents the complete consumption of this world by Eli Gui. And until such a time that he is not a threat, then Seraphel must be defeated, as much as I may regret events as they've come to fold.
So the world tree is kind of like a necessary evil.
Correct.
Okay.
This is the story that's been told.
Well, um, the I've been having these dreams lately.
Yes, I see you have been touched by the consumer.
Um, I know your face or you know my face, something about knowing faces. Yeah. Is that his whole thing? Their whole thing?
They have
What
many things. They will upend your subconscious and pull you apart thread by thread until you are nothing more than loose thoughts in the cosmos.
okay, and that's actively happening?
Unless you kill yourself.
Okay. Option could do that. I probably won't, but thanks for the idea. Um Let me just write down a couple of things.
I'm gonna get a water, but I can still hear you.
Yeah, go for it.
Hello.
Hello. I'm writing down some questions. So give me like 2 minutes.
Okay, we'll take a short break.
Sounds good.
And we're back. At this point, as you've kind of just been sitting there thinking to yourself, Randy, Valerian has kind of like stood himself up. So much so that he kind of like starts to fall out again of your daylight spell, and you just see like his mammoth feet kind of lingering around, and he seems to kind of retreat to the back of the cave.
Um, how'd you get like this, man? You used to be a guy.
Uh, he regresses out of the realm of your light, and you hear the odd crack and crumble of bone and dust, and a figure steps back into your light, not unlike the one you saw in your vision that he gifted you, though older and wrinkled now. They stand lean, built, long, pointed ears, swept back gray hair pulled into a tight ponytail. But you can see like flecks of silver in his hair and on his skin. He kind of looks at you as this was a form I chose. It is a form that others might be able to as well. I will die soon, and I will die as this. And you watch as he allows his figure to fill the space once more as a behemoth silver dragon.
Um, so I got this. So that was a lot. Thanks for sharing. I thought that it was very informative. Um, so I
You
got this book, right? The Etheric Compendium, which Ted wrote, Zephyron's Ward. There's some pages missing. I was wondering if like you could fill in those gaps. And I kind of just handed his claws the book.
um, as you slide the book across the floor, and kind of like kicks along his feet, kind of like spins it lightly with his toe, and then just applies the faintest amount of pressure as he cracks through the book, cleaving it in two.
Oh,
A book for children. I have told you the truth. You wish to hear more of my conquests, of the blood spilled in my name, of the blood spilled in the so-called supreme deities. And he gets really close, and you can see wisps of ice flay out from between his teeth. Is that what you're here for? Hunting fairy tales?
no, but the book did help in leading me here, so it's done something good.
Hmm.
Um, where, if I'm, it seems like I got a lot more context now, but
And what do you
the,
think of it?
well, the goal still seems to be the same at the end of the day.
Oh, will you
Stop the
fight
world.
for her wrath? Or will you end their tyranny?
What would you do?
I'm not the one who gets to decide anymore. I have chosen wrong before, and it has brought us here all the same.
The way I see it, the goal is still to prevent the world tree from burning. Yes?
Yes. But we have no means of knowing if that's her true mission.
She did
Yes,
mention.
I fear it. But her calling is deeper than that. She wants revenge.
Well,
His head kind of twists around you now, wrapping alongside. So, I live in exile, abandoned the divine purpose, the very purpose that Seraphel claimed I left long ago. Did I? What would you have done if you were me?
I meant to ask you about that, actually. Why did you. Why, first of all, I guess, why didn't you just kill her?
She was the best of
Seems like an
us.
easier solution.
She is the best of us. She is not so easily killed. Even Neria. We could have let her live, brought her back. We are, in essence, immortal. But by then, Neria had already made a choice. Give up her immortality. For humans. By the bay. She found someone she loved. Seraphel never knew.
Oh. Um. Well, what happened to Neria at the end of the day?
She died. We buried her beneath the tree.
My friend Dunk just talked to her like yesterday. What did you say?
What?
Yeah, he did some kind of ritual and went into a colorful dream space and said he talked to Neria. She seems like she's doing well.
Curious. They're not surprising. Everything about us is anatomically, physiologically, psychologically different. It would stand to reason that our spirits need a place to go when they can no longer be tied to a mortal being.
Speaking of all that, when you say the whole immortal, like people, like things like you, like, am I also included in that? Am I one of you guys, or am I like different because I'm new?
I have no way of knowing what powers have been promised to you, but I imagine we are not the same. As I said, I am a living weapon. You are a tool.
I am a tool created by Adara to get rid of Seraphel, the
You are a
problem.
tool used by Seraph Adara to get rid of Seraphel. Randy, look at me. Are we the
I do.
same?
In a way, is it not? Is a tool not a weapon? Is a weapon? Wait, the other way around. You know what I'm saying? Wait. Also, it works the other way.
What would you have done if you were me?
I feel like I just talked to her.
And we tried.
Yeah, not hard enough.
What would you say?
I think I need to talk to her now. I don't
Now?
feel like well, soon. I feel like I don't really understand. It's clear that I don't understand, and neither do you apparently, what she's truly like here for. Because I've been told that she's here to destroy everything.
Seraphel
Doesn't
unto herself is a danger. As long as she can wield a sword, she's a threat. Though I regret my actions and the cause of events that followed, she must be put down.
So you're on team kill Seraphel.
Unless you have a better way.
All right. If you could go back to one moment in time and change a decision that you've made, what would it be?
I would have listened to her. For a long time, she told us that we had. He retreats a bit deeper into the cavern. He told us that we were abandoning. We didn't see it that way. In truth, we were picking up a flock. They wanted us. And in looking back, we wanted them. We wanted so desperately for someone to need us, for a cause that did not require us to break bone, spill blood, all the weak. Instead, we could grow them. I followed orders blindly, like a good soldier. I never questioned anything. In my youth, I curried war. And I thought what I was doing was just. We were preventing the convergence. We didn't prevent it. We were the convergence. Seraphel was the only one who remained. Others left, died, did not return when the moment was called. She remained. We saw that as an extension of our duty. That maybe we would have seen differently. Had we known we only craved the attention. Because when the moment we took up our stewardship of that tree, we never heard from our gods again. I would have listened.
They ordered you to kill a bunch of people in their name. And then once you did what they said, they abandoned you.
It's what I was built for. And I served faithfully and well.
Well, that's not cool. I don't like agree with that. What would killing them accomplish?
Killing who?
The gods.
You speak treason.
Haven't you been asking me about that this whole time?
I ask you nothing other than what you would have done. I still have a purpose.
He still is what?
I still have a purpose.
Which is?
I will see to the tree, as I have for millennia, and will continue to do so.
You do that from here?
He only stares at you.
Where is the tree?
Just
I
not
feel like
question. I answer lightly.
I've gotten a lot of not answers about that, and I feel like if anyone were to be trusted with that information, it should be me.
And yet you have not told me what you will do. Why should I trust you?
Um, we're the same, but we're not. And I'll, keep it safe or whatever.
Whatever. We're the same, but we're not. Who are you to deserve the mantle that you wear? The lackadaisical attitude that you approach a burden that creatures were built for, creatures died for.
I
Who
didn't
are
ask for
you?
this.
And what will you do?
Seems like I gotta stop it from burning.
And when faced with Seraphel, what will you do?
I'll stop her one way or another.
And what makes you think there's any way but one?
I refuse to kill Seraphel.
You refuse.
I do.
So when she doesn't listen to you, and your antics, and your, I can't think of a better word, lackadaisical approach to life, you will stand steadfast and let her fell you, then return the favor.
I have a lot of tricks up my sleeve.
And I'm just meant to trust you. What faith have I been given that you, little pebble? At this point, he's returning into the light, haunching on his arms and legs, getting eerily close to you, tongue licking out as if feeling in the air. What will you do?
You ever heard of chronomancy?
I beg your pardon.
Seems like a lot went wrong in the past.
So you mean to undo our mistakes? You can't undo the mistakes. You'll create an alternate reality. You'll doom your own.
A better reality, maybe.
And those in this one.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
You you doom an entire universe, an entire realm, an entire
No,
people. When
I'd
you go
correct.
back in time and change something, you do not change the future. You create an entirely new reality.
And everyone here perishes. They all feel the death, or do they get shifted into the new reality?
They feel whatever They stay on the path as though you never arrived, and you create an entirely new reality on top of what I've killed people who have tried this before. What you suggest is mass genocide. Perhaps you are one of us after all.
No, to be fair, I didn't know it worked like that. I thought it was like a one timeline sort of deal. That feels wrong, and I don't know about this anymore. Okay, fair enough. Um, I don't know. I guess I'll just have to. I'll do it if I have to. I'm lying.
Make a deception check.
Ooh. 18.
I'm not like your companions, Pebble. You cannot bend my will to your needs, to your whim. I need to know. If I am to entrust my sacred oath to a pebble, I need to know that you will do what must be done. And in talking to you, I sense someone who makes brash decisions.
You would not be wrong about that. But I have a purpose and I know what it is.
What is that?
Don't mean to keep harping on the same thing, but to, stop Seraphel from doing that whole thing. Whatever it takes.
What
I'm
make
lying.
make a deception check?
Oh, much, much worse. A 5.
And what makes you think that you can succeed when we failed?
I'm better at listening than you.
Make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Ah,
He knows you're lying.
fair enough. Persuasion, 7.
That's it. I knew I was built by betrayers and charlatans. This is a truth I've reckoned with over the centuries. Where did they find you? Washed up on some beach? Is this who they trust the sanctity of not the realm, not the kingdom, but the universe to? Someone who
Um,
says, I'll figure it out. I listen better.
to be fair, man, I look at you. You're a big ol' honking guy. You were very clearly built to kill. Look at me. If I was built for anything, it's to talk to people and to make sure that they don't do the things, bad ones. I'm not built to kill. That's just not what I am. Yeah, they found me. I was washed up on a beach, right? That's, I'm not like the most. I'm not who anybody would choose for this position, I suppose. But I'm here. I'm on your side. I want to, we have the same goal. You're not going to get anything better. And I'm me, and I'm going to do the thing I think will work. And you can try to convince me otherwise, but it's not going to work. So take it or leave it.
Make another persuasion check.
Another 7.
Valerian steps back, his thunderous footsteps shaking the cavern, the distant clamor of rocks rolling down the walls. He raises his ancient head, giving you a full view of the length of his body, as tall as any of the buildings you've seen. He breathes in deeply, just as you think he's about to strike. He lets a puff of white smoke emanate from his lips, billowing between his razor-sharp teeth and against the cavern's wall behind you. You turn and look. The stone does not fade away so much as it seems to crumble and dissipate under the weight of his power. The cavern shaking, bit by bit, more of the wall chisels away, and a faint glow begins to emanate and light the dark space. More and more fall away, revealing a golden framed panel of glass. It reflects back the dark cavern, save for a murky image of something beyond. You, your back is to him now, but you can sense his head rearing behind you. What do you see?
A
Make,
mirror,
make a
right?
perception check. It is a mirror.
Okay. There we go. Back to good rolls. 21.
Staring into the mirror, it is definitely murky. It presents as something familiar, something you've seen before, but then in a flash, it quickly fades to something new. Reflection of yourself, standing plainly amongst the group, but it feels different, warm, serene. Everyone seems to gravitate towards you. A stark contrast to the current, chaos of your life. And you seem self assured in the reflection, gladly sharing the con. You're kind of standing there with a scroll, gesturing to things, and everyone's kind of just but playing along and eagerly and keenly engaging, even if they're ribbing you. They seem proud to be with you.
That's nice.
What do you see?
Um, Everyone seems happy to be around me. Um, it's not exactly the way that things are now, but
Is it the way you
it's how
want
I.
them?
Yeah,
Then you see self actualization. A champion with far greater purpose and yet still so self interested. Whatever reason, destiny is calling upon you. And for whatever reason, the gods in their infinite wisdom have decided to go with someone so unlike the rest of us that you must rise above these desires. You cannot live a life shackled by the sins of your past. whatever they may be. Think. What do you seek?
Who I wish I was.
This is what you seek.
Oh, this is what he's saying. What do I seek?
What do you seek?
That he said, "What do you see?" Got it. I want to be my own person. I want to choose things for myself. I want to be someone who people can point to and say that that guy had it together. He knew what to do. I don't. I, I want to be. I want to be my own god, but not in an evil way. In a cool way.
You can make you can make one final persuasion check.
I think I'm doing very poorly with this Valerian interaction. 11.
The Lunathil has indeed failed. And I'm going to have you make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh shit. Okay. 18 or 20. Dirty 20.
That fails.
Damn.
Please hold. Okay. You kind of like turn over your shoulder as you're speaking to this, and Valerian kind of twists his head to the left and to the right. I'm afraid I must bear this burden once more. And he breathes in deeply and lets out an icy blast in a cone towards you that just erupts from his lips, pouring over you.
Jeez.
And you will take 49 cold damage.
I have
Uh,
resistance to cold damage.
you only take half
My
of
other
that.
mountain-born trait.
Nice. So you take 26 damage.
Okie dokie.
26 cold damage. Or actually, no, is that right? 25 cold damage. Um, and I'll have you roll
And
initiative.
I will reduce that by a 1d12, which I can do once a day with my stone's endurance.
Oh, nice.
Reduce it by 4. Okay.
And I'll have you
Bad
roll initiative.
6. Oh boy.
Okay. So technically that was their turn, so it is your turn, but they will use their breath and then shout out and say
Fus Roda.
pretty much. They say
Oh.
they no, they basically shout out at you and say, "You have come trying to prove yourself, and you have failed. If this is what the gods define as champions, then we are no more than pawns on a chessboard." It is your turn.
Okay. This mirror is behind me.
It is.
Is it close enough that I can touch it without like using an action?
You could run there, yes.
That would be like farther into the cave, yeah?
Yes, away from the entrance.
Okay. I'm gonna run towards the mirror.
Okay. And what are you doing with your
Um,
turn?
can I touch the mirror?
Yeah, it's physically there.
Nothing like funky's happening with it.
No, it's just a mirror. Um, but at the moment, it just reflects what you saw previously. Um, but as you get closer, the faces of your friends seem to get blurry. You will find no respite there. You do not know what you seek.
I'm gonna use my action. Oh wait, can I? No, it takes 10 minutes. Damn.
What?
I was gonna cast Legend Lore on the mirror during combat.
Wait, give me one
Um,
sec.
hold on. Um, okay. It's gonna take me just a little bit to look through my spells because I wasn't expecting to go into combat.
I might suggest there's one that could be really good for you right now.
I know about it.
Okay.
Or I don't know if you're thinking what I'm thinking.
I think I'm thinking what you're thinking.
Because that is a pretty good eject button. Oh, no. That's not done. Okay. Let me Google something real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, this seems bad, man. I think I'm just gonna use Word of Recall.
Okay. And as a casting time, like you can cast it instantaneously.
It's an action, yeah.
Okay. So as you kind of like stumble backwards, place your hand against the mirror and find that it doesn't yield to you. You kind of like palm your hand against it, and you can see the icy breath beginning to kind of pool up in Valerian's mouth once more as he kind of like starts to rumble towards you, and he brings up his clawed palm, hand, foot, the size of a small building, and becomes prepared to bring it down upon you. And he goes, "We are doomed if you are who we trust to lead us." And you kind of just like sit there, rub your tummy, tap your head, and you slurp out of existence
What I
as
do?
I'm gonna say it is. And all of a sudden, you kind of find yourself like kind of holding up your hands ahead of you, hold them down, look around, and you find yourself in the warm. It is the dead of night. Warm abode of the Hyla Adara Sanctuary, the Hearthkeeper Sanctuary.
I'm just gonna kind of like sit for a second or two, and then like kind of come to my senses, and I'm gonna try to find Cena.
Make an investigation check.
10.
It takes you a little bit of time. You're kind of just collecting yourself after that, and with every door you go to open, you like look down and you see your hands kind of shaking a little bit. And finally, you like open one, and you see her kind of lying there with her hands crossed on her chest, um, and there's a small candle burning on her table. Um, but outside of the like candle and a glass of water that at this point is untouched, you don't get the sense that anything in the room has been like moved or impacted by her. You get the sense that she's
Mm-hmm.
still not woken up.
I'm gonna sit down next to her. I'm gonna take her hand. Um, I'm gonna like just sit there for a second, um, and then I guess I'll see if it works. If there's a bunch of clerics here already, it seems like they should have been able to do something. But I am just gonna cast Healing Word at the 5th level. I'm gonna try to heal her as much as I can, and the word is gonna be, um, please. Um, so uh, so she's gonna heal for 24 hit points.
You can see the magic kind of glow in your hand and kind of passes over her. Um, and you hear a faint voice from the doorway. It won't work. She's not dying, nor is she dead. You kind of turn and look, and you see there's a small gnome woman standing in the doorway, wearing the vestiges of Adara. She just doesn't seem to want to wake up. I have to ask, what happened to her?
She
And if
got super stabbed.
I imagine this was a traumatic event for her.
Yeah. I mean, being stabbed usually is.
She crosses over and she kind of like steps in front of you and like places her hand on Cena's like kind of chest area, like her midriff. She goes, "If I may," and she lifts up
Yeah.
the blanket and lifts up a bandage as well, where you see just where Seraphel's blade had cleaved through her, and you can see that it kind of like separated her torso in some degree. And while it's been stitched up, and like there's an impossibly wide scar cutting across her stomach, and it's purple and blue. In some cases, still bleeding. In some places, and the cleric kind of dabs him a little bit. It says a healing word as well. She's fine, but at the same time, she isn't. I trust this may take a few days. I've seen things like this in the past. It's a traumatic event, and on the brink of death, the soul is wary to return to the body. But take care, she'll return. She'll return.
Okay. Um,
Is
thank
she,
you.
is she close to you?
Yeah, she's yeah, she's my daughter.
Very sorry. She's a fighter. She'll be alright.
I was the one who teleported her here. I know she kind of came out of nowhere, so sorry about that. But thank you very much for taking care of her. You are all. Thank you.
You did the right thing. Well done. She kind of clasps your hands. Are you all right? You seem like you've seen a bit of scrap as well.
Um, yeah, I'm not good, but who among us is,
She will heal you for 23 hit points. If you need a place to rest, you're more than welcome to stay here. The ward of the Hearthkeeper is always welcome.
Yeah. You guys you're good at your jobs.
Thank you. I'll leave you be. But if you need
If I
anything,
could ask you,
yes.
what how did you find yourself in this position? Were you always a follower of Adara? Did you find that she helped you in some way? What
I was an orphan. My parents died in a fire.
I got a friend like that.
My path brought me here. I wasn't a very good child. Stole in the marketplace. Didn't really care who I did it from. Then one day, I stole from a man. But he caught me, grabbed me by the wrist. I expected a lashing, but he fed me. Gave me a warm bed to sleep in. It was right here, not 2 doors down. He welcomed me, clothed me. I haven't left since.
That's great.
If you need
That's
anything, I will just tell you.
that's the kind of person that I'd like to be.
Sure you are. But
Thanks again.
if you don't mind my saying, you seem a bit lost. So if you take
Yeah,
some
seems
unsolicited advice from someone who's found themselves in similar shoes, stop trying to be something. Just be. It's what we're best at. The answers will come. Good night. You should get some
good night.
rest. She will step out of the space.
I take a deep breath, and I kind of put Cena's hand back where it was before, and I walk out into the main room. Can I take a 30-second break?
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna have a fun conversation. I hope
Okay.
you're ready.
All right. Take a short break. And we're back. Okay. You are standing in the lobby of
Okay.
the Adara
The
Sanctuary.
lobby of
Yeah.
I am going to go to the flames and kind of just like sprawl out, start like lean forward a little bit. I'm going to take um a good old fashioned pre-rolled J. I'm gonna light it up and I'm gonna smoke it for a little while. And I'm going to reach into my backpack where I am going to take a triple, like a long swig of the flask that I have in there,
Okay.
which I haven't been drinking a lot lately, but I'm
Yeah.
doing it now. Um, and I'm gonna wait for about 10 minutes as I kind of casually do this, and by casually I mean with purpose. I'm drinking and smoking with purpose.
Okay.
And then I lean back forward, finish off the J, throw it into the fire, and cast Commune.
Okay. And is that's the one where they like I don't care.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
not been doing that. I kind of
you
like that it's been yeah, but go ahead.
you basically flick the joint into the flames, and the perpetual white smoke darkens. Black, crimson. It is angry. And then returns the white. And you kind of stare into it, and you let your eyes glaze over as you cast commune. The smoke begins to fill the room. And where in the past you found yourself on a level field with Adara, she has met you where you are. Here, that is not the case. The hearth before you remains the only thing that remains, as the rest of the sanctuary drips, burns, and melts away. And you stand small, like an infant, in a perpetual, ongoing, endless cloud of white smoke. Empty as the void. Okay. Look around. And the disembodied voice, Randy. Finally, you turn and you stand before her. She is grandiose, truly a god. Her radiance searing through the now twilight, a stark contrast to a darkening sky. She kind of shifts her body weight, leaning against something, but you can only see her upper torso. Her hand rises. You called for me? You've been a busy boy.
This is a different vibe than what I was expecting. um, yeah, I had a chat with Valerian. I'm sure that you know him.
Do you think there's
Uh,
anything I don't know about what you do? The way you speak of me when you think that no one is listening?
no, I know you're listening.
Then what have you come to tell me?
I think we need to have a chat.
You sound like you have demands.
Well, I've been told by credible sources, I'd say, that you and all the other gods have been just lying about a lot of stuff. Um, what the hell?
Were you to question me? Does the ant question the boot?
Kind of seems like I have more stake in what's going on than you do.
What makes you say that?
Since I live here.
And all of this is mine, as much as it is yours. You think I don't care about what happens to my beloved followers, devoted as they are?
Yeah, they're great.
What seems to be the problem, Randy? I know you've spoken to betrayers. Should I consider you the same?
I don't know if you have to consider me a betrayer.
She doesn't sneeze.
Bless you, Adar.
Look, man, what you've done in the past has been, as I would put it, not cool. A lot of making people to kill other people, as I understand it. Yeah.
I don't answer questions for the people I created. I deliver them everything they've ever wanted, everything they need. And for a moment, she appears beside you. You want to be someone, don't you? And then again, on the other side, I've made you exactly what you are.
You absolutely haven't. You haven't made these people who they are. They're themselves because of other people.
We're not talking about other people at the moment. We're talking about you. And again, she rises up to the heavens, looming over you. I made you what you are. And every step of the way, you question me. You question my benevolence, my divine gifts. I've saved you. I've brought you back from the abyss. I've let you atone for sins that I would cast others less deserving into the hells. What do we forget about how you traded your poor, darling daughter over to the terrible, frightening figures that still haunt her nightmares? Where was it that I found you? Abandoned alone on a spit of land because you couldn't deal with the weight of your sins. You didn't want to be anymore, but you were too coward to finish the job. So yes, I made you what you are. I welcomed you to my fire. I welcomed you, and I brought you back, and I gave you gifts beyond mortal comprehension. I asked for one thing in return. And here we are, time after time. Me asking, begging, wondering when you'll finally get the picture. Her voice echoes, and you can actually feel it shaking in your chest. So, what do you want now?
You think I am the way I am because of you? You hate me. If I'm what I am because of you, you fucked up. I like who I am most of the time.
Is that so? Because I know everything there is to know about you, Randy. I can see into your deepest, darkest memories, nightmares. I know you wish you were people that other people wished they could be like. And you're not that, are you? I think the reason you're here is because you crave that. You want that. And so I tried to give you what would get you there. Yet still it's not enough for little Randy.
That sounds very manipulative.
Excuse me?
I don't. You you don't seem like you really spend a lot of time on the surface with us. You got a lot of knowledge and a lot of things to say, but I don't think that you really understand the day to day operations of a person on the planet that we're on. I think there's a lot that I could do my job, or I could do your job better than you could.
Is that so?
You don't do shit. People ask you for things all the time, and they give it to themselves in the name of you
I empower them
all
to
the
do
time.
so. We empower them to do so. We work through them. Very rarely do I entrust someone with the abilities that I have given, because I want my followers to know what they are capable of and rise above, pull themselves up, and I give them the confidence. Their faith in me is what pulls them up, what drives them forward. Without me, they would be lost in the void.
Holy shit. Do you hear yourself?
No fire to warm them. No. Do you know what I. Do you know what happened to the last person who claimed this?
What?
You are still chasing them.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem like they were like 100% wrong.
Is that so?
Look, I'm happy to have a talk with her. That's what I want to do. I think that she is extremely misguided, not, in the best of ways, but she's like me, right? Like she's fucked up. And she might fuck up again. But we could stop that. We don't have to kill her to do it. Feels a little cruel. No?
Do you forsake me?
For uh sorry, I'm pretty high. Define that?
Are you abandoning me?
Don't call it abandonment, call it I'm going in a different direction.
Is that right?
Have you talked to Azaleas lately? They have some good points.
Perhaps this will teach you the weight of the gifts that you have squandered. Her hand rises. Thunderclaps surging through your chest. She reaches into your body. Her whole hand, you can see it, her fingers plow through your chest, ripping through you, and you can see a version of yourself laced in gold and white, wretched from your body. And all of a sudden, the breath, the air leaves your lungs. She casts the figure down to the side, pulling at the essence, peeling away the layers. Both hands come pulling down, gripping your wings by the side. You try to stagger, wrest out of her grip, but there is no reprieve. She rips them down from the side, and you take a lot of damage. Hold on.
Oh wow, okay. That makes sense, I guess.
You take 32 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
As your wings are ripped from the side. Final wrenching motions. There's just like a pain and an absence. You try to scream, but it just pours out into the void. You stagger back and you kind of like catch yourself on nothing, and then all of a sudden she like whips her arm in the air and brings the heavens down upon you. And a deafening roar kind of just starts to circle you like a tempest, spinning, spinning, spinning. You forsake me. You will know what it means to be abandoned. She brings her fist down, and with a flick, you feel yourself tumbling, falling, descending. And as you look up, I wish you dead.
Oh, fuck.
And as you hit the ground, there's only the wind and the void. And Adara's sanctuary materializes around you, and you are hitting the stone earth, and cracks in the stone beneath you spray out in different directions, and you can hear distantly the voices. What's going on? Get to him! Get to him! What's this? And immediately people surround you, descend upon you, and the light fades. You can hear your heartbeat in your ears. The nothing.
Oh.
And that is where we'll end tonight's session.
Fuck.
We thank you for tuning in. Um, we will be back on Sunday at 2 p.m., 1 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern for a conversation with Brandman. And we'll also be back on Wednesday. Until then, you can find recordings of our episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/at Nat20Hot. You and I will chat afterwards.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Good night.